Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Creative Blockman podcast. I'm your host, Miguel. And this is now season 2, episode 1. This is a very important season for me, mainly because season 1 was just about focusing on the art and focusing on the material, actual prints and pieces. Season 2 is, I'd say, a little bit more exciting. It's about the actual artist, the relationships, and getting into the creative processes and just diving in a little bit deeper with the artists themselves. And don't forget, like I said, hamburgers. This is where we're going to share a burger and we'll give you a little snippet we'll try express what we tasted. And on today's episode, we have a very talented, multi-talented artist that goes by the name of, as I know him, Jed. Some people know him as, what did you say your stage name was?
Jed E-Y-E.
There we go. So as I was saying, we've got Jed on the podcast today. And yeah, dude,
my
I'm
man.
going to leave it to you. You introduce yourself. You let the people know who you are, what you do.
Hey, man.
And let's just, let's get the show going.
Well, firstly, I want to say thanks for having me on the Creative Blockman, bro. It's been cool to watch you throughout this journey, and to see where you're taking it and just involving people that love art and have a passion to express themselves in different forms. I'm highly appreciative and grateful for the moment. So thanks for having me here, firstly.
No stress, dude. This is, little did you know, is I actually always wanted you as a guest on the podcast. Because, we go way back. We know each other for quite a few years. Yeah. But I wasn't, as we spoke earlier, I wasn't ready for that stage. I'm still, funny enough, I'm still busy producing season 1 of the podcast. So I didn't even want to bring it up yet because it was like, for what? I'm going to tell you about something that's happening in 2 years' time. And then, we can obviously discuss how this all came about and how we're here today. But yeah, dude, I always wanted you on this podcast regardless.
I appreciate that, bro.
No, definitely.
It means a lot to me, yeah. Years have come and gone, but here we are, bro. We're here. This is it, the Creative Blockman, man. I go by the name of Jedi. Obviously, just been pushing the passion through music, beatboxing, just art in general. I've always loved to express myself, whether it be in an emotional way or whatever it may be. But for me, through music on the stage, that's my place to express myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I'm here. Let's have a good time.
Tell me now this. I know you as many different things, but the first thing that I can't say really the first thing because there was something before that. But we're going to get into beatboxing.
Yeah.
What got you into beatboxing? How did your love for that come about? Let's chat a little bit more about the story behind the beatboxing,
Cool, man. Well, honestly, around primary school days, I was always rolling around with my bros, like on the field, would be beatboxing or rapping, battling each other and whatnot. Honestly, the funny story is why we all kind of got cornered into that. Not really cornered, but in a beautiful way, we were cornered. On a Father's Day camp out, a little girl got kicked in the face with a soccer ball and we weren't allowed balls on the field anymore. So
damn.
We were like, okay, we need to be super cool and creative about this. Everyone's going to circle on the field and we're just going to battle each other. And one dude's going to beatbox, one dude's going to rap. We're going to take turns, but dudes are going to diss each other, meet in the bathroom and oh man, it was funny, man.
So it's like a typical one of those scenes, like this is Mob Deep here. We're about to go at it. Eminem, 8 Mile.
It felt like that, bro. Like people waiting in the changing rooms, in the bathrooms, like next to the sports field, and walking in there, and dudes are waiting for me to come battle people, bro. It was ridiculous. Okay. But yeah, man, never knew where that would take me. At the end of the day, years went by. I kind of never lost the passion, always beatbox. And then I found myself at spring break and I'd seen a beatboxer that actually had it as a career and he was performing on stage. His name was Morgan Beatbox.
Yeah.
And whilst he was performing, I was actually just looking around at my friends, sussing the situation, and I had this weird energy overcome me, and I was like, yo, look, I can do everything that this guy is doing right now. I need to speak to him. I need a breakthrough in my life. I feel like this could be my calling. Like this could be my step into my future.
Yeah.
This is the right thing for me. And I walked up to him. He walked off stage. I was like, hey man, quickly here, you know, like kind of might have come across as like weird vibes, but he was so humble and so cool about it. I was like, yo man, I'm a beatboxer. This is what's happening. I just got out of school. I want to do this. I believe I can do this. I've been doing it for years. Can you give me some advice? And he was like, come to my uncle's music store out in Rosebank. Let's chat. Let's chill. Let's check out some mics. Let's make some music. Let's just involve some music and let's conversate and get to know one another. And that's what happened. And after that conversation, meeting with him, chilling for a couple of hours, he gave me my first mic and he was like, bro, you can do this. Go for it. And yeah, man, I just started sticking my neck out there, proving that I can just get on the stage and, you know, make people move and feel things. And I'll just rock up to venues and be like, yo, you've been seeing me here coming through the partying scene as a youngster. I really want to get involved. I can see you the manager or the owner or something. I've been sussing out every single person at any venue I went to, whether we were all there to party. I was kind of like sussing it out.
Yeah.
Until I would rock up to a manager and be like, yo, man, let me perform here. Don't pay me a cent. If I make people, if you see people going crazy or you see things going in the right direction, then you can book me again and then pay me. Then we can agree on something. And then that's what got the ball rolling, bro. And then, yeah, started opening up doors and then the phone started ringing.
No way. And the thing is, like, I think for you, you probably hear this a lot, or you probably have heard this a lot, but it's like, you're actually, like, you're really good at it. You know what I mean? Like, it's a talent. It's not just anybody on the side of the road that, like, can do that shit. You know what I mean? So big ups to you for actually, like, pushing it and you know, believing in yourself, because I think that's what a lot of people struggle with sometimes, is actually believing in themselves
100%.
Because they're thinking about what could go wrong before they actually do it. You know what I mean? So big ups to you, dude. I think, didn't you did a commercial for Sprite, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's chat about that. That was crazy, dude. Like, I even saw that and I was like, fuck, that's some proper shit, dude. Like, well done. You know what I mean? Like,
thank you, man.
That was proper, you know. It's a big thing to to achieve, like, you know.
A big step for me, because it was a commercial that ran for 6 months. And yeah, you know, that ran for 6 months in cinema throughout the country. And why it was a big deal for me is because most commercials are a couple seconds long. This was just under 2 minutes long. You know, it was made for cinema.
That's mad.
And what was crazy is the cool kind of pressure that came with it. We rocked up at Wonderman offices for Sprite, and they pretty much linked me up with that football player, because I had to beatbox and he had to tap the ball to the beat. So they literally said to us, yo, we're giving you guys 30 minutes. We just met each other. And they were like, come up with the advert. And we were kind of like, whoa, we thought we were coming into a script, you know. So yeah, we came up with it and we just went with it, bro. And yeah,
that's
honestly,
crazy.
It's a cool thing to have, you know, to be like, hey, I did a Sprite commercial and everything. But I'm just stoked on the opportunity, and I just want to keep going, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you've always had this drive and you've always had the passion for it. So you just have to. That's also the thing that a lot of people don't do, is they don't just stick at it, because it's not going to be easy. Of course, it's not going to be easy, but 10 years from now, you can look back at it and be like, fuck, I've done this, and this. You know what I mean?
One time.
You know, it's like, this is a bit of like, we're going to segue a little bit, but I'm thinking about like another person in the room, KD. When I first met him,
KD, shout out KD.
Dude, this guy had like 3,000 followers on Instagram, and you know, like he always hustled and he kept taking photos and kept taking photos. Bro, if you go look at this guy's photos, they are clean, dude. Clean pics. And that's what it is, you know what I mean? You got to work, you got to put in time, you got to put in the effort, and only then you'll get somewhere and you'll be like, fuck, look what I've, look what I've achieved, look what I've done. So yeah, keep at it, dude. So
appreciate you.
What I want to do now, and I'm not looking at my phone to be rude, I have questions. I'm not a robot. I can't remember everything. So chill. What I want to do is I want to ask you one quick question. And I just want you to answer first thing that comes to your mind. What was your first experience with art? Any form of art, like we said earlier. I think freestyle motocross is art. So whatever it be, you know what I mean?
Straight up. I mean, look, when it comes to my first experience with art, it goes back to maybe my personal experience with art. Finding the art within myself was around those times in school when we were on the field and doing all that. That's where the art was sparked in me. And I was like, oh, you know, even as a kid, it's not like I never lost that feeling, but I always knew something about this is meant to be, you know, it's meant to be my part. Something about this has me sewn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think you didn't, to be honest, I think you didn't even notice it at the time. Like it just happened. Like, it happened. You know what I mean? Like it was you. You know what I mean? I don't think it's a thing of like, okay, some people are probably like, yeah, sure, I'm gonna become this. But I think subconsciously it was just happening within you, which is also kind of cool. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's a true form of yourself, which is cool. And I can respect that. Do you have a favorite artist? And now I'm gonna push it more towards like visual art. So like for example, one of my favorite artists is George Mars.
Yeah, well, Drake is definitely one of my favorite artists, and Maine, both straight out of Jersey. But yeah, definitely I'd say Drake and Maine are two of my favorite local artists for sure. I mean, they've slammed the streets. They've taken some big risks, whether it's slamming trains or whatever it may be. I'm not trying to call my homies out.
No, of course. But I mean,
you guys have done some big risky things, man. Respect to you guys, and just to get the art out there, and we see it, you know, for years since a youngster.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's just spreading.
I mean, if anybody listening to this or watching this, if you don't know who Drake is and Maine, whenever you drive on any road in Johannesburg, probably, if you see graffiti that says Drake, that's who Drake is. If you see graffiti that says, I think he does Maine, and then he does the chopsticks, the noodle box. If you see that, that's who we're talking about. So, I mean, it's like you said.
Sure, you guys have seen it out there.
You've seen them, definitely. And people think like, you know, cool, it's just graffiti. Like, it's not just graffiti. One, those guys 90% of the time, I could be wrong, but they're probably alone, right?
Yeah, I won't lie. They either definitely have a lookout at the same time. I mean, they could be hitting something on the side of the highway, and they definitely need a homie to be taking a look out. But I wouldn't be surprised if they just park out pretty far and just take a walk, you know?
Yeah, so just that on its own, like these guys are going out probably at like 2-3 in the morning.
In town
in Johannesburg.
Climbing up onto billboards.
And doing this shit, like that's commitment. And that's one thing I've also realized from street artists. They take a lot of risks, like heavy risks. You guys will hear, they take major risks. Like your guys were here in the episode where I discussed my one George Mars. Well, I call him George Mars, but his name's actually Mars, or his street name's Mars.
Respectfully.
But his name is actually George. But anyway, we're going to refer to him as Mars.
Legend.
There was a story where they were tagging up, I think it was trains, and the security at the actual station shot at them.
Oh, they have the right to shoot at you, yeah.
I mean,
you trespass, that's it. There's signs that says you can get shot at.
Listen to that. So if that's not like commitment to your art, if that's not putting it all on the line, then amen.
Hey, Mars is definitely one of the pioneers with all the old heads, especially in the graph scene, and still keeping it alive, bro. Yeah, the graffiti artists in SA, I think, are
top class, in my opinion.
Yeah, bro. A lot of them are super underrated when they shouldn't be. They should deserve a lot more. Like pop up their art galleries a lot more. Like I saw, as we were saying, checking out Maine's gallery. That was beautiful at Grayscale.
Can you imagine? Yeah, that must have been crazy. Yeah, you know, it's stuff like that, and I understand why, because it has more of like a negative connotation. You know, street arts and stuff like that. But it's in all honesty, it's bullshit, because these guys are just as talented as any other traditional fucking classical artist. Like, they're just as talented. They're just as good. Like, give them a piece of canvas, they're going to do the exact same shit. Okay, maybe not all of them, but some of them, yeah, they're going to do the exact same shit. You know what I mean?
No, it's the same thing as taking that piece of art right there on your wall and someone slamming that on a brick wall outside of a complex or something, whether it's in that frame or not, it's still a piece of art and it's still beautiful.
Definitely, dude. So now you've kind of transitioned, not kind of, you have transitioned from beatboxing more into rapping. So let's touch a little bit on that, How's that been going? What are you working on? Where are you going? What do you want to achieve? Stuff like that.
So, yeah, man, honestly, the beatboxing built a path for me to meet the right people and to give me vision and perspective on where it could go and if I made the right choices, It's helped me learn a lot. I mean, you've seen me even coming into my studio, let's say 8 years ago or whatever, I wasn't putting out music then. I was mainly doing my own thing when the windows were closed and the curtains were closed. But when people came, I tried to help them with their own music a lot. I put a lot of time in other people. But at the same time, I just always had this feeling in my stomach like it wasn't the right time.
Yeah.
I didn't want to just put out music to say I'm putting out music.
And I big ups to that, because it's a lot easier to just put out a bunch, I don't want to say shit, but it's a lot easier just to put shit out so that, so that you have something out there, so that you're kind of relevant, if you want to call it
Definitely.
that. So, big respect to that. Rather work on your craft and, build at it.
Yeah, man. Honestly, I just want to come at it with the old school vision, coming at it with real authentic pieces such as 50 to 100 units of pressed vinyls of my first debut, all signed, merch, shirts, caps, hard copies of CDs, and then USBs
release
for the kids that don't have CD players in the cars. But I really just want to drop this debut, couple videos. I just want people to see my vision and understand my story from the first tape. I don't want it to be 5 tapes down the line and it's been 8 years and no one knows anything about me. I just want to express my raw form of art, and it's not about embarrassing myself. I just want to tell everything to the core as it is, so that people can understand where I come from, and people that come from those similar places can pick themselves up through that shit,
Yeah.
So I've just been figuring out how to portray myself in the correct way, and now's the time. So
that's proper, dude. That's the way it should be, At the end of the day, what I also like is that, because let's be honest, at the end of the day, this has to also benefit your life in some way, whether it be financially, this, that. It has to do that eventually. Not that it hasn't already. Obviously it has, but I like the way you're looking at it. You know what I mean? You want to have your vinyls, you want to have the USBs, you want to have your merch, hoodies, XYZ. That's the way to look at it, because at the end of the day, it's going to put food on your table. You know what I mean? So I can appreciate that. You got to look at it in the sense of a business, but at the same time, you still got to stay true to yourself and still express yourself and put something that's actually genuine out there. Because if you put that genuine product out there, people will naturally just gravitate towards it. You know what I mean? Why does everybody love Kendrick? Because we can relate to the shit that he says. So yeah, I'm gonna go buy a sneaker because I can relate to him. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna buy his album because I can relate to him. He raps about real shit. He raps about stuff that, Cut You Off from Kendrick is my all-time favorite track. I got fucking goosebumps. That shit hits me so deep, because he even speaks about how there's a point in the track where he says something about family, and how when family comes together, they're still speaking shit about each other. And then he's like, no, I'm going to cut you off. Even though I think it was, if your blood wasn't running through my veins, I would cut you off too, or something like that. He says that. And that hit me as well, because I've experienced that in my life. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I can gravitate towards. You should put something genuine out there, then by all means. I'm a major fucking Kendrick fanboy. He could release a pair of underwear with his face on. I'd probably buy it.
Shit. I'll wear that. I don't think we're ever going to come across another Kendrick ever.
Nah. So, not in a long time. Let's just put it that way.
Not in our lifetime.
Yeah. I hope we're wrong. I really hope we're wrong.
Maybe something similar with the same motive of actually inspiring the culture and changing things and bringing that to the culture. But the culture's just slammed up with so much scrambled rubbish, bro. So... But it's all good. The good and the bad will filter through. So
yeah, and at the end of the day, you also you kind of You're in charge of that. You choose what you want to listen to. It's your playlist. If you're going to add it to the playlist, you're going to do it. You want to add cock to your playlist, then by all means, add the cock to your playlist. You know what I mean? But that's also a beautiful thing about the world we're living in now, the age we're living in now. It's not forced to like a CD. You know, you can put whatever the fuck you want on your playlist. So you guys choose. You putting some Kendrick on, or you putting some? I don't want to say names. Let me not say names.
Hey, these days algorithms are choosing people's playlists.
Hey, that's
bro.
also true.
Crazy.
That's also true. Shit.
Your phone's choosing it for you, bro.
Yeah, that's a sad thing. Hey, these things. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I mentioned earlier the first form of like art form, how we met, in my opinion, was FMX and riding bikes and stuff like that. You've also, I don't want to say dabbled, but you've been involved in that industry, and
yeah.
you've associated yourself with people in the industry, and you've got a fairly like proper name in the industry. So I wanted to touch a little bit on that, and
cool,
you know, how that's kind of maybe guided your life or your creative process or whatever, you know.
Most definitely. So yeah, when it comes to the freestyle motocross, obviously I got involved in freestyle motocross around the age of 16. So that's the first time I actually hit a jump, and I started getting involved with the likes of Alistair Sayer, Nick DeVert, Dallin Goldman. You know, these are guys that are the pioneers of the sport here. My bro Dallin Goldman, I mean, he's been there sitting next to Travis Pastrana.
Big names.
Yeah, you know what I mean? He's ridden with some of the best. Robbie Madison, he rides with Robbie Madison in California. That guy has broken world records for Red Bull, you know. This is my bro, you know, and I'm so proud of him, and to see where he's come. He started out a little bit prior to when I came into the scene with the bikes, but you know, I've seen him come from me entering the scene, leaving the scene, and him actually making a life out of it, and riding with people we would watch on DVDs, and now he can call those people, and I'm so proud of him. But obviously he founded a company called Jungle Rush FMX. And Jungle Rush actually, it spawned off of the first idea of Jungle Rush. His dad has a tree felling business, so Jungle Rush, you know, it was the tree felling business's name, and it still is. But Jungle Rush FMX was the freestyle motocross side. It's like just keeping things family, you know what I mean? Keeping that family business name and extending it down to his son. It was just like meant to be. So at this point, I'm still emceeing and hosting all the freestyle motocross shows around the country. 2-3 weeks ago, we were in Kimberley for the Skateboard World Championships. So usually Niger comes out there. All the biggest skaters, X Games skaters, they all come there. And we all stay in a hotel for 3 days, and we all just mingle and, you know, watch people skate, and we perform. And whether I beatbox or do my music or whatever, I got to open up for Most Def there. I got to open up for Little John the following year.
Okay.
I had some crazy experiences through that. So but freestyle motocross, it's really added so much to me as a person, whether it's been slamming off the bike and just learning different ways of respect, and you know what I mean, and understanding how quick things can change. You know, you can have one slam and your whole career is gone, and I'm just grateful I got to experience that, be with people, gain a piece of that, and it feels like that was a different lifetime, you know. I was able to ride my bike. When I wasn't accepted in school or whatever it may be, they would let me come through, ride with them, and they would let me be different and do my thing, you know. So, I mean, it's kind of weird when you go to school and you're like trying to show your friends, hey, look what I was doing. And they're like, bro, that's not you, bro. You know, so.
Well, you have to like prove yourself almost.
Yeah.
At a young age, that's weird to do as well.
Hey, but yeah, I won't lie, that's kind of like inbred in me. When it's time for the stage or anything, when I need to grab the mic and just be in my elements, that pressure and all of that just brings out the best in me, you know. So I feel like freestyle, beatboxing, and music, it's all just added to me and to who I am today, you know. I'm grateful to have experienced all of those things. Most people don't get to experience those different things, and some people don't find that art within themselves, you know. So, you know, just especially anyone out there that's looking to find or seek anything within them, just, you know, express yourself. Don't let people tell you can't evolve and find yourself and express yourself in unique ways and forms. You know, you don't have to be like everyone else. You can be different, and that's what art's about.
100%.
Expressing you.
Yeah. And I think the cool thing about that is, in a way, it's you could basically rap about certain experiences that you had while doing the FMX things. You know what I mean? Like, you could incorporate that past life, if you want to call it, into the next life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's an amalgamation of lives put together, you know what I mean? Which could be cool, you know?
I think so.
Okay, cool. So, have you broken any bones?
Well, in school, I fractured my shoulder twice.
No, but like specifically from riding.
From freestyle.
Yeah.
So from freestyle, my ankle, I've done tissue damage, and I've fractured my ankle. I've done ligament damage on my ankle, knee surgery, collarbone, shoulder twice.
Okay, so you have broken bones.
Concussions multiple times to where you slam and you don't know where you are. And I've been there. But my bro Dallin's been through.
I can imagine.
Through worse, bro. Like, first time he backflipped, touch wood, bro. He's done thousands of them now, but and backflip variations and whatnot, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, the first time he really flipped to dirt, that was like 16 meters or 15 meters, and he came around and slammed, literally high-sided pretty much, and the bike whipped him, knocked him out unconscious. I think he broke his pelvis or his hip. He cracked his pelvis. He was knocked out. Broke both his collarbones, his wrists, his...
Damn.
Dude, he was bad. Sleeping. Woke up in hospital, you know, but we got cool footage of the surgeries. And
cool.
Yeah. Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, we thought it was pretty sick. We still do.
No, of course, definitely. It's a
Shout
story.
out Jungle Rush, Dallin, Mike, what's up?
I mean, just to get up and to get back on the bike. I mean, I rode bike for a little bit, but I didn't do anything crazy as that. Like, and I had an accident, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, after that, like, getting back onto the bike, it's not the same, you know what I mean? And my accident was small. Like, my accident was tiny, you know? So, I mean, big ups to him for actually getting back on the bike and making a life out of it, you know what I mean? Like, making a living and you know, like, it takes a lot of balls and a lot of, like, inner strength to do that shit. But, yeah, let's jump back into the art. Okay, so you've been beatboxing for a long time, right? What would you say were like specific learning points or points where, good or bad, where you learn something, you know what I mean? Like with somebody, maybe I don't know, the club owner didn't pay you your money for the day or for performing, you know, like how did that grow you as a person or just teach you a lesson in general, a life lesson, you know, if it could be that?
Well, I mean, many lessons coming into play, such as whether you're not getting paid or handling the situation or protecting yourself in the correct manner.
Yeah.
Or it can come to the point of when I was young, let's say 8th grade, watching a German beatbox champion. His name's Babeli, and he was a world champion at that time. And I was hitting him up, and I was like, bro, I'm your biggest fan. Like, I love your routines. I love your sounds. I just want to learn from you. And he would always hit me back. And then one day I was like, bro, I can't wait to just come to Germany and spend a couple of weeks with you and just do some shows with you. I really want to learn from you. And the best advice any artist in the beatbox world gave me personally and directly, he was like, I couldn't even express how I felt through the response, but he was just like, I remember standing there out in the driveway and I looked at my phone and he said, the best advice I can give you is to explore your own mouth. You know, and I was like, that's so true, because our mouths are all shaped differently. You put your mouth in a specific position and you try manipulate your tongue in a certain way, and whether you're breathing in or out and you try a new sound, because your mouth is shaped differently, and you could have certain muscles that are developed in a stronger way compared to mine, and you'll sound different to me and you'll make a sound that I can't make. You know what I mean? Because we all have unique mouths. You know what I mean? The same as we all look individual. The inside of our mouths are all individual, you know. And when it comes to advice through beatboxing, as we're saying earlier, when we're saying not everyone can just like wake up and smash it, but anybody can do it. It's like a language.
Yeah.
So, but it's just how much time you put into that. And then, when we get back onto the point of actually putting yourself out there with beatboxing, and let's say you wake up and you're like, I can beatbox. I want to get out there. One of the worst things you can do is just keep putting your neck out there just for people to step all over you, because it'll get to the point where years have gone by and you're like, oh my word, this is still happening to me.
Yeah.
And it never changes.
Subconsciously, like it's,
Yeah, you build this thing in your subconscious, like it's okay to do this.
Yeah.
And then years go by and you're like, no, it's not. And then you're going to make this drastic change. So it's good to recognize your worth from word go.
Yeah.
And don't let your worth go down the drain just because you're trying to move on to the next block,
Yeah.
So that's one thing, just looking out for yourself, making sure you're going into it with the correct mindset and to protect yourself.
Yeah. One of the biggest lessons you could say, yeah.
Yeah, just to protect yourself, know what you're getting into before you get into it.
And know your worth, because I think, I could be completely wrong on this, but I think the industry and entertainment industry, and especially in this country, I think it is a whole bunch of people manipulating talented people. You know what I mean?
100.
Like promising them X, Y, and Z and giving them just X, leaving the Y and Z out of it. You know what I mean? Like,
hey bro, a pure example. I went in to perform for Universal Music when I was about 23, and I was 22, I think. And they booked me to open up for Aloe Black. I need a dollar, so I had to open up for him. And all the press was there. He was coming to SA to do one bit of his tour,
Yeah.
And we're in Universal Music Studios, and the one dude that was actually down to sign me, I was sitting down there with the media, and I was sitting with my ex-girlfriend at the time, and something came over me, bro. And I mean, from what they wanted my music to be portrayed as, I wasn't interested, I just felt like I was young, and they were going to make me put out music in a way that I didn't want it to be portrayed. It wasn't going to be mainly about my story. It was just for
what the label wanted.
And I remember I was literally supposed to still perform. Aloe Black had just kind of arrived. Media was all waiting for him. We were sitting in the waiting area facing the stage. The only crowd was media.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there, and it's as if someone else took the wheel. Like I was just watching things unfold. I wasn't controlling what was happening, what I was doing.
Yeah.
To the point where I tapped my lady, I said, stand up. And I went up to the dude, and he was standing, he's like, where you going? And I tapped him on the shoulder. I was like, I'll see you soon, bro. And I just walked out. Sat in, I remember still climbing in her car. At the time, I didn't have my own car, but I sat in her car, and I put my head in my hands, and I was like, I looked at her and I was like, is that the worst mistake I've ever made? Did I just throw my whole career down the drain? Was that my one shot? And I just blew it. Yeah. But the inner me and me, the core within me, knowing deeply who I am, I knew that wasn't my vision. That wasn't where I was supposed to be. That wasn't my dream.
It comes down to the simple thing is, it's not what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not what, and it sounds so simple, but it's a really deep thing. It's not what you wanted to do. It's like you're saying, your core, your inner being, what you stand for. And like a lot of people don't notice that and don't realize that, because it's like, damn, these guys could be giving me some cash. Like, things could be getting like what they see as a lot better, but in the bigger picture, it's only a little bit better, because what they're going to get out of they're going to get the bigger picture. You know what I mean? They're going to get the big money out of everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's sad. There's so many young kids that are actually absolutely ridiculously blessed, and you know what I mean, with their art form and what they're capable of expressing towards the youth, to uplift the youth and to actually add towards the culture. So many of those kids are being taken at a young age, being manipulated into a situation that they can't control or handle. They just get obsessed with the thought of it happening, and they make it happen.
Yeah.
They don't go over their contracts correctly, and their art's jeopardized.
Yeah.
And then
Not
10,
just their
10
art,
years
their
go
lives.
by. There we go. The art's there is their
Yeah.
life, you know what I mean?
Yeah, true, yeah.
So it's like you as a person, you become jeopardized. Then, you know, I just didn't want to put myself in that position. So I stepped back, years went by, carried on, built my studio, and I've just been figuring myself out and prepping for this next decade in my life so that I can just push this out and just do it the right way. So
it's the best way. At the end of the day, that's what's going to benefit you the most, not benefit John or whatever the fuck that guy's name was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I believe in that 100%. Like what I do with my art purchases and stuff like that, where I can, obviously, there's no chance in hell I was going to make a relationship with Shepard Ferry. I fucking wish, like, God, Jesus, I'd do anything for that. But for me, it's important to actually purchase art directly from the artist. Because if you look at a gallery setup, some galleries take 50% of the sell price. So this piece is going to sell for 10 in the gallery.
Yeah.
They're going to give the artist 5. 5. The person that created that art piece, $5,000, hypothetically.
That sounds like some record label shit, bro.
You know what I mean? Like for me, that is absolutely
absurd.
It's madness.
It's disgusting, actually.
It is. It's not ethical. It's not ethical business.
That's killing
I don't
the
care
culture.
how much your rent is. I don't care. Fuck your rent.
Bro.
Fuck your electricity. You don't do that to someone. You know what I mean? You can't take 50%, or you can technically because you're doing it. But for me, that doesn't sit well with me as a person.
I agree.
I'd much rather buy art directly from the artist, because then I know every fucking cent is going into that man's pocket because he deserves it, first of all. Second of all, he puts fucking hours and hours and hours of time in. Like, it's not easy to do what you do. You know what I mean? People see you perform a 20-minute set and they're like, oh, okay, man, that was really dope. Well done. But they don't see the 7, 8 years, 9, 10 years that you've been practicing probably one sound. You know what I mean? So for me, that's 100% like the way you're doing it and your angle and your approach. Damn, I needed to burp.
That's all good.
I agree with it, because at the end of the day, it's what's going to benefit you.
Earlier when you asked who my favorite artist was, I needed to say this, bro. Kasky is an unbelievable artist, bro. He inspires me so much. He's so underrated, bro. As I was saying, he's signed to Baby, bro. Baby signed Lil Wayne. You know, so many big artists came through the Birdman. You know, so. And I feel Kasky's so underrated with everything he's doing. You know, he's got his own clothing line, Unoya World, with his lady. I mean, they'll take old pieces of, let's say, whether it's Gucci or whatever it may be, from other people. They'll post it to them. These kicks almost did a kick. But so they'll take old pieces of really high-end fashion and they'll stitch different parts of the clothing to each other, chop it up, make it new, and, you know, that shit will go on for a high price. Yeah. But it's definitely worth it. But when it comes to his art, they have an art gallery, bro. They paint ridiculous paintings. You need to check them out. Contemporary arts. You need to check them out. So Kasky and Aaron, Kasky's lady, they just unbelievable when it comes to promoting the art. So Kasky's really involved in art in a major way. And like I was saying, he says, I make art, y'all make content. So it's everything he does.
He's very clear and direct about what he's trying to do and what he's trying to achieve.
Boom.
He's not here to fill up your feed and just post a video once a week. He wants to create something. You know what I mean?
Kasky, you ever see this, bro? Just know I'm going to bump into you one day. We're going to make music, bro. You've inspired me. I've been pushing your name out to people in SAF for like more than 10 years. Yeah,
I have seen that you have been repping him for quite a long time. I haven't really exposed myself to him.
You should.
But I mean, now is always a good time. It's never too late to start. So, yeah.
But yeah, man, super influential. But touching back on your question where you were asking me about my creative process.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't like to open up a page and start off with writing, because I feel writing, you'll start off with the word, and as I say, you'll feel like I'll feel like I'm kind of blocking myself because I'm forcing myself to worry about what I'm writing. But I feel with hip hop and going back to the roots, especially with rap and standing in a circle in the cypher.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like doing that old school shit. That's what hip hop is about, and the core, the roots, taking it to that and sticking to the roots, not straying away from that. And for me, the easiest way to express myself is, you know, finding a beat that I like, hearing the first few seconds of it, and I'm like, ooh, I can hear myself on this. I might not even listen to the beat drop. I'm just like, okay, something about this. And I let it sit. I might even come to it a few days later when I'm feeling incredible or I'm feeling terrible.
Yeah.
Either way, I'll express myself. So I'll put the mic on, I'll put my DAW on, my Ableton, I'll set everything up, click record, run to the mic, and I'll just take one take of the whole song. I'll do the verse, the hook, the chorus. When I'm feeling expressive and free, I can easily come up with that on the spot. Like, have a vibe. Sure, maybe there's a couple mishaps, but I'll go back to that and then either rewrite that, and I know my vision. So I wasn't holding myself back by starting with one word, then the next word, then sticking on one sentence for too long. I like to just express myself on the spot, and that's the best way to get something out of me that I didn't have to think about. I just let it out because that's how I felt on the spot. And as I was saying, Lil Wayne, you know, he doesn't write any of his music, you know. Most albums that you've heard from Lil Wayne is freestyles, bro. You know what I mean? Caskey's done that for years, bro. When he did the album Black Sheep, Yellow Wolf album. So the Yellow Wolf, Black Sheep, pretty much he was even stating how, because Yellow Wolf's writing is so on point, you know, like M status, Eminem level, you know what I mean? Like unbelievably ridiculous with the pen. And when it came to Caskey and Yellow Wolf making that album together, Caskey was saying how he actually had to start writing again because he felt like he had to push himself again, and it was a good thing for him to do that with Yellow because it kind of pushed him lyrically again, and it sparked new shit within him. You know, maybe I'll have that moment in my career or my lifetime where I'm like, holy shit, I need to write and step it up. But this is just the way it works for me to express myself in a loose, free way, and not having to put it down, word go with just a beat playing and start writing. I just like to just freely express myself.
Yeah, because I mean, the beautiful thing about art is there is no right way. You know what I mean? As long as it works for you and it's your process, it's who am I to judge and say, no, that you shouldn't be doing that, you should be writing. No, it's your art. You created the way that's best for you. You know what I mean? Later on, as you said, in your life, you can always incorporate that because that on its own, writing isn't an art form. You know what I mean? Like, you can always incorporate that. You can always try it. You might hate it. You might love it. You might hate it now. You might love it in 10 years' time. You know what I mean? That's the beautiful thing about it. You know, it's always it's an evolving process. It's not a one shot like, yeah, we do it like this and we're always going to do it like this, because then I think you're also going to land up in a rut where you making the same type of tracks. It's like you said, Caskey had to write now because Yellow Wolf is so good at writing. That's how he does his process. You know what I mean? So it's cool, and it's nice to also hear, you know, how you approach it, because there are different people. I mean, I'm sure there are rappers that you know of to this day that do first write and then jump on the beat.
Definitely.
There's rappers that probably
majority
make the beat and then rap. You know what I mean? But it's actually, like you were saying now, majority you actually write and then jump on the beat.
I mean, you know, I'm not constantly going back to Eminem. I'm just saying he's a great example.
Yeah.
And I mean, it goes back to him, you know, writing on his hand and whatnot. Yeah, you know what I mean? It doesn't mean that what he wrote on his hand to the beat he was hearing at that time is what he put on that beat. You know, you probably used that 3 years later, or you never know. So it's different for everyone. So I do agree with you. And what's funny is that I'm going back again on Cas, but just so I can kind of connect the dots. So Caskey back in the day used to rock up outside Yellow Wolf's concerts and sell his CDs to Yellow Wolf fans, because he looked up to Yellow Wolf and always wanted to do music with Yellow Wolf. And apparently he had a manager that kind of approached Yellow Wolf in a whack way and kind of made Caskey look like he was kind of desperate for this collab or whatever, and it made Yellow Wolf kind of like put off about it, and he didn't really pay much attention to Caskey about it because of the way his manager approached him. But then fast forward all these years, they're like best homies, you know,
Yeah.
and they're hanging, they're making music
an album together
with his idol.
It's
you know
not
what I
every
mean?
day that you can actually make an album with a person, because a lot of people, they'll make the album because they have to make the album. But it's different when two people come together and actually enjoy making the album. It's not about making the album because the label wants you to make the album. It's making the album because you guys want to make the album. And that on its own that's a crazy thing just on its own. And I think we're getting pretty much to the point where we're going to wrap things up. But what we have to do and what we haven't done is we haven't discussed the hamburgers yet.
That's true. You guys enjoy it. Eh?
So as everybody knows, well, not everybody, but listeners of the podcast, I love hamburgers. Hamburgers, as I've said, for me, it's an art form of its own, cooking, everything. But it's about the hamburgers. But let's get into it. You had it was a Beyond Burger.
Yeah, it was a Beyond Burger.
I'm not going to say where we got them from because fuck them.
I love this guy. He's straight the fuck up, eh? Straight up, bro. I love it.
You had the Beyond Burger. How was it?
I honestly, I enjoyed it. I do like to cook it myself, but it wasn't bad at all. I enjoyed it because for me, it's a cheat thing for me.
Yeah.
You know, I feel, especially because I'm a vegan, any plant-based.
This man's a vegan. And we had burgers, imagine.
Yeah, as soon as he texted me, I was just like, he's like, bro, come hungry. We're gonna come ready to eat, bro. We're gonna eat burgers, bro. And I was just like, fuck, bro, I'm vegan. And he was like, that's all good. This is gonna be interesting. We're gonna review vegan burgers. So, but I'm stoked that not the whole crew didn't have to, you know, the whole team didn't have to eat vegan burgers. I'm not forcing it on you, but you guys got to do it. But yeah, man, the reason why I like Beyond, I mean, when you cook it, it kind of bleeds a bit, but it's beetroot juice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It leaves that, you know, when you eat like a hot dog or you eat meat and it's on your hands and you can smell the meat on your hands.
Beyond kind of does that.
Has that smell that like it gives you that feeling. So I enjoyed the burger. I enjoyed the touch of the little crispy chips on the top. Look, I love cooking, bro.
Yeah.
I won't lie. I cook more than my lady does. She knows that. She knows that. She knows that. I cook for most of my family. If I'm in the house and
he literally said to me before we come here, or before he comes here, he's gonna make dinner for his grandmother and his mom. I was like, damn, what a top class gents. My
boy. Yeah, man. I don't know. I love cooking. I've always had a passion for it. Since my early teens, like, you know, I'd fry prawns and put them in a spaghetti with a tomato onion mix. Like, I'd do anything, even though it wasn't legit or professional, but I always love being creative in the kitchen, you know.
Yeah.
Whether there's a whole bunch of stuff there or nothing, you'll always find a way to make it good, you know.
Definitely. Yeah.
But the burger was good.
Burger was good, though.
I appreciate the burger.
No stress. You know, we had to do it. I didn't have the burger. Well, I didn't have the Beyond Burger. I definitely had a burger.
What was your burger like, bro? Did you enjoy it?
It wasn't bad. The patty was a bit dry.
Okay, so can we go on flaws?
Of course. Okay. Damn right we're gonna go on flaws.
Cool. You go for it, then I'll go for it straight after you.
Okay, away.
What do you feel?
Patty was a bit dry. It could have been, I think it was just overcooked. I think the patty it's a good patty, but I think they overcooked it. It's a mistake a lot of people make with food in general. You don't have to cook food for too long.
Still cooks when it's sitting.
Yeah, exactly. The bacon was good. I didn't get like a crazy burger. It was just bacon. What was on it? It was bacon and a patty, and that's about it.
No gherkins, tomato.
No, onion. there was the usual relish and shit like that. But I mean, for me, that's just salad. You know, that's just
standard
extra. Yeah. But I mean, it was pretty decent. You know, it was a good burger all around. Not the best burger I've ever had, but yeah, it was a proper burger. I enjoyed it. Yeah, that's about it. Oh, out of 10, damn. Shit, out of 10.
What would you rate it out of 10?
Probably like a 6. I can't give it 50%. That's a bit too low. But a 6, I don't know. What do you guys think? A creative Blockman rating? Well, let's put it this way. Oof. Your best cut of meat is probably like your rump and your fillets.
You would know.
Yeah. Trust me, I would
know. Come now.
I'd put it at like a brisket. Brisket is still kind of, you know,
brisket.
For those that are watching that know what this is, you guys will know what it is. But brisket's like it's a tender piece of meat, but it's still not your upper.
It's not that Wagyu.
Yeah, it's not that Wagyu. You know, it's not your fillet. It's not your sirloin, but it's still a good cut of meat. So I think that's where this burger sits. You know. And for you, let's touch on the flaws. What were those flaws?
One thing, especially about a burger, especially if you're taking it away. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but the actual buns itself, especially if when you order something and an hour later or 30 minutes later, the buns go soggy.
Yeah.
So one thing I always do, let's say if I'm making one at home, obviously you can see they were kind of ovened up a little bit on the outside.
Yes.
But what I'll do is I'd cut it in half and oven up the inside
Both
of it,
sides.
just so it's like soft on the inside but crisp on the outside and the inside, so it won't go soggy as quick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It kind of defends itself from that. But other than that, I don't know. Your six got me going there. I'd maybe give mine but like a 7.5.
Oh, that's proper.
Like it was pretty. It was pretty.
But your
decent.
burger did look like. I mean, we opened our boxes and it was just a bun. This guy's burger had like crisps on it, and he even had to get a plate. Everybody else was eating out the box. Like, big ups. Like your burger looked proper. It was.
I'm like
looked like a good
myself
burger.
to a knife and fork there. But
man ate with a knife and fork.
One thing that you're probably gonna laugh about it later if I don't bring it up now, but if you open your dustbin later and you see one half of one of the buns in there, just because my bottom one was really soggy.
It's all
I was
good.
just like,
Don't worry about
peace
it.
to this. I'm gonna carry on now.
It's all good. Don't stress about it.
Yeah, man. I just want to say thanks so much for letting people like myself come onto this and express myself and to have cool conversations with you like this. I enjoy it.
Bro, thank you. Thank you, because it's like I said on one of my episodes, I had this feeling that if I didn't do this and I didn't fulfill my urge to create something, I'd look back at my life and be like, I didn't live it the way I wanted to live it. I didn't do the things I was interested in.
I love that.
So thank you, dude, for actually coming on here, because this might be something that was cool for you, but this is like my dream. You know what I mean? Like this is what I want to do, like for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? This is my passion. So I want to thank you for allowing me to continue pursuing my passion.
Bro.
So, yeah.
That's beautiful. And I want to just tell you one thing and express it in this moment. Like whilst we sitting here and I'm just checking the team at the back and I'm checking you out and in the moment and just how you speak and express yourself and just how you are, I feel like this is like a calling for you, you know, because many situations where I've been in like this, the opposite person that you're conversating with, you don't feel comfortable, or it's weird vibes, or it's super forced, or like I appreciate that we can be loose and enjoy this. And one thing within myself, I can definitely vision people in certain places, and you know, I've always kept that within myself, and I always vision myself somewhere, but I can envision this being in a big point in your life, and I'm keen to watch that unfold, bro. And just for all the people you're gonna meet, it's gonna bring, you know, new aspects and
definitely, bro. I hope
memories to your life. So yeah, man.
Same to you.
This is it, bro.
What
the
we need to do
Blockman.
though. Okay, so you're not gonna leave just like that. You have a choice, right? What you got to, not what you got to do, but no, actually what you got to do. What you got to do before you leave is either leave us with a snippet of your favorite routine, or leave us with a snippet of, oh, not a snippet, leave us, a snippet of one of your favorite verses or whatever it may be. So
just
your choice.
Just something I've been working on, man. Just something recent. So yeah, we can do this, man.
Okay, so what it's going to be? Verse?
Yeah, I'm just going to play you a part. I actually did a track with a homie of mine, Jazza. So yeah, man, we grew up together, and this is one of my segments. I'm in the second verse, but
okay,
yeah, man, just kind of give you...
Stage is yours.
So yeah, are you pretty much going to put this part over me doing this? Then it'll have that proper audio that we're playing now over this visual. Okay, sick. Don't fuck around with the Jedi. I've been rolling in the street for a long time. I've been rolling weed for a long time. And catch me in the West. Don't fuck around with it, knowing that they fucking with the best. I've been spitting on the mic for a long time. Yeah, you know I do it right for a long time. I've been hitting on the bong for a long time. I've been in the fucking hole for a long time. Don't be testing me, but seeing that these MCs really want to step around me on the eggshells. I was trying to tell it, never thought that I would ever be the one to say, rest in peace, Ricky Rick. I will really miss you to the day I die. One day I'ma see you in the sky. I know that you've been flying, soaring through the heavens. I was really representing your name, holding the flag up. I fuck around with me, knowing that these whack MCs gonna fall. Bitches wanna stand tall. I was trying to get into it, knowing that one day I ball. I fuck around and never thought that I would rip this mic up. Thinking about the time when I would really pack the mic up. I'm never gonna rest in peace with the way that I kill all these fucking whack MCs. I was trying to tell them all that I always wanna bleed every time you know me. Fuck.
You had it.
Oh, I fucked that one part up, but I guess you can use a segment of it or whatever.
Yeah. Nice. Okay.
But anyway.
It's a wrap.
Don't fuck around with the Jedi. I've been rolling in the street for a long time. I've been rolling weed for a long time. And catch me in the West. To fuck around with they know that they're fucking with the best. I've been spitting on the mic for